opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car.
Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it. Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to another round of the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. We have arrived in the Ardennes Forest for the 9th round of the championship. Only 5 more to go, including this one. And we're here at the legendary, the spectacular Circuit de Spa Francorchamps. I am very delighted to be here and really looking forward to this round of the championship because it brings with it a number of different challenges for the drivers. Also brings a challenge for me as well. Hello everybody, my name is Chaz Draycott. Great to be back with you once more and great to bring you yet more action to your screens on the Wednesday night. So, let's just have a quick look at the championship standings before we get into anything, because you need to see here the incredible dominance of Cam Dance continuing once more. He took a win, lights the flag win last time out at the Hungaroring and is now 80 points clear in the championship. To put that into context, you get 25 for a race victory. So with 4 left after this, if he can manage to extend that gap, if there's a bad night for Christian Rose or Silas Kragvrolik, then he is already confirmed as champion. It's pretty incredible, to be honest with you. 125 points are available. 130 points. I can't even count. 126 points are available because of the fact that you get pole position points as well. Anyway, Christian Rose second, not too far ahead of his teammate Silas Kragvrolik. Then the 2 Ferraris, 4th and 5th, Kevin Zemstra and Jack Stiles. Pete Newman is in 6th place, tied with Jack Stiles in all fairness on 48 points. And then it's close between Tim Perry, Adam Hedgecock and Ben Gregory. So looking at the current session, with not long left to go in practice, it's Kevin Zemstra that is currently the fastest for Ferrari. He's done a wonderful time of a 2 minutes 18.2. And it is a very, very long lap here at Spa. And because of that, the qualifying session is going to be a bit different. We're going to have 2 cars out on the circuit at once in terms of those going out for their fast times, basically. So they're going to be leaving in pairs rather than doing it individually like we've seen before. That's Kevin Zemstra making his way up. Rouge and Radion making a lot of noise as he does so. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? Now we've got new drivers jumping in this evening, one of which is driving Narrow's Yamaha. That man there, Michael Blake, takes over what is showing as car 6 this evening, but he's going to be car 18 for the rest of the season. Ed May is back with us tonight as well in the Sauber. It's good to have him back with us once more. I was actually messing about on Project Cars 2 a little bit earlier with Ed May. We were just messing about and reminiscing about how the game was and how it still is. We've got Jack Stiles back with us as well. He and his missus have just bought a new house together, so congratulations to Jack and Ali. Now, interestingly enough, Cam Dance's car is going to show as number 16 because Michael has got into the session early and got car 6. There's an interesting one. Pete Harrod back with us again tonight as well. Pete was great on his debut at the Hockenheim ring, and I'm excited to see exactly what he can do. These are mighty, mighty loud, aren't they? Might even have to turn them down a slight bit at my end, so apologies if the cars are too loud. Whoa, that's a big old moment for Pete Harrod. Look at that into Les Combes. Wow. That's how suddenly it can go around. So one of the changes tonight is that they have a medium downforce setup this evening, rather than the high downforce setup that they normally have. And it really has made the car a complete handful. That's how quickly it can snap away. So hopefully they can all keep it nice and tidy throughout. But it's going to be a big, big challenge this evening as Adam Hedgecock improves on his time and goes up to 9th position. He's just done a 2 minutes 19.56. But it's very close in the midfield, especially between Blake, Hedgecock and Schmansky. We were supposed to have another new driver joining us tonight, racing for Tyrrell. Unfortunately, we've had another exit from the championship in the form of Hasse Raymer. He's left the Tyrrell team, and he was supposed to be being replaced this evening by Jamie Ayres, who was going to jump in, but Jamie has work commitments and unfortunately cannot make it. Just having a quick look at the two Jordans of Ben Gregory and Jakob Schmansky. Not Jakob Schmansky, sorry, Aaron Smith. The two of them have improved a lot. And they had their best team score at the Hungara Ring last time out, so they're hoping to continue that. As we look at Ben making his way down the Kemmel Straight. Look at that time by Zemstra, though. Half a second clear of Ben Hoffman, who's put a good time in. We have 3 drivers still yet to set a time. They are Cam Dance, Pete Newman, and this man, Silas Craig Frolic, who goes completely backwards and spins at Les Combes, showing just how tough it is. Oh, my life. He's been absolutely, as they say in the industry, clarted by Ben Gregory. Wow. Silas had a big old moment. And then Ben just arrives on the scene. You can see a bit of the smoke. Tries to go around the outside of him, and then suddenly Silas is there, and he just flings him into the air. That's a big old hit, that. Luckily, that doesn't affect their race result. Christian Rose has messaged me as well. And he says he's having issues with his braking leg at the moment, with his left leg. He's got an issue with his knee, so hopefully he's all right to make it through the race, but we'll keep our eye on him. And we'll will him on, won't we? We'll all will him on. So Jack Stiles in the Ferrari, 6th place at the moment. Ferrari have moved up in the championship standings ahead of Williams, currently 11 points clear of them right now. Williams on 116 points, Ferrari on 127, but they're 109 points behind Benetton. So Cam Dance and Pete Newman are very much on their way to take the team's championship, as well as Cam looking good for the drivers' championship. Here's Toby Ward in the Minardi, just pulling over to one side. He's going to pop back to the pits, I believe, as Hedge, whoa, gets very close. Very, very close indeed. Hedgecock coming into Les Combes. We'll go back on board, shall we, and just see what a lap is like round here. They've got to be so careful on the power in this car, and you've got to be really careful on the downshifts as well. Michael Blake was saying earlier how much fun it is to actually drive this car again. So he's certainly enjoying himself. Look at that, through what is now called Speaker's Corner. Doesn't quite look like that anymore, does it? We've got Pete Newman out on track in the Benetton, making his way out onto the circuit for the first time this evening. Not sure how many laps these guys have done between these rounds of the championship, but some of them do put a lot of time in, and others, well, they just jump straight in. As off the road has gone Ed May, but also off the road has gone Toby Ward. They've both had their own individual incidents. This is what happened to Ed as he comes out of Speaker's Corner, just upsets it on the curb and keeps his foot in, and Toby upsets it on the curb and keeps his foot in. Interestingly, similar results as well. Both of them. Look at that lineup in the pit lane there. Doesn't it look fantastic? So, session comes to an end. Barney dusts the flag off on the wall on the wrong side of the circuit. Christ's sake, Barney. And we should have now our first pair of drivers out on the circuit. Now, this is all going to be choreographed by Jakub Szymanski, and he is one of the two drivers to make his way out. Michael Blake is the first one in the Arrows. There he is. Jakub Szymanski following him in the Lola. So they're going to open up a bit of a gap between the two of them. It's just going to help us get through the drivers a lot quicker in terms of their flying laps. So Jakub will hang back as far as he can while Michael Blake shoves the Arrows up the hill and cracks on. Lovely looking car, the Arrows A18. I'd definitely say it's my favourite looking Formula 1 car of all time. When you see the real car, it is an absolute delight. So there's a decent gap between Michael and Jakub. As you can see, the car still having a bit of a wiggle around. And Jakub just making sure that gap stays as wide as possible. So Michael Blake, a great addition to the championship is Michael. He's a very enthusiastic guy, loves all of his sim racing. And look how careful they're having to be around there to not over-rotate the car. Careful not to clip the curbs. You really have to guide this thing around gently. It's whenever we see a lot of battles going on that people start to have big moments. Arrows is goated, confirmed, says Shifty. Adam Watson in the chat. No, it's not the real Arrows, believe it or not. I can't believe it either. It really broke my heart as well, Shifty. I completely agree. I know exactly what you're on about. It's an absolute nightmare. So Michael doing a bit of weaving as he goes up towards Blanchimont. A corner that is very scary on this current setup, I must add. Flicks it through the left. Sean Gardner in the chat as well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful night so far, everyone that's joined us. Any moment now, we should get the sector times come up at the bottom as Michael Blake launches himself onto his first qualifying session in the Chaz Draycott Media Formula 1 World Championship. Jakub Szymanski will be next to cross the line as he comes into the bus stop chicane. And, oh, there you go. That just shows you how easy it is to lose it. And that's going to ruin Jakub's run out of the final corner. Here goes Michael. Upper Rouge really flicks it to the right. Maybe even lost it a little bit on the way in and saved it halfway up because that was definite over-rotation. Now, Pete Harrod is on his way out of the pit lane in the Prost. He's leaving a gap, and then Khan Newen will follow him out. Khan gets going now. That's good stuff. That's exactly what we want to see. And Jakub will be choreographing that while he's driving as well. I must honestly tip my hat to him. He's an absolute legend for helping out in the way that he does. This is Michael Blake then. First sector he's done is a 40.95. Jakub Szymanski's 2/10 slower on a 41.1. Arrows versus Lola. Another purple sector for Michael Blake, a 32.90. Of course, his sectors are pretty much always going to be purple. Let's see what Jakob does when he comes back around. 32.9 by Michael Blake. Still waiting for Jakob to complete the sector, you know. 34.09. So Michael Blake really doing well in this part. He said the last time he raced this car was around 2011. Unbelievably, about 11 years ago. Michael is one of the really early guys as well when it comes to iRacing. Is iRacing ID, which is the number that all customers get in chronological order from when they sign up. Michael's is 57363. Pete Harrod is 44016. And Jamie Ayres 21190. Very, very early sign-ups onto the iRacing platform. Jakub Szymanski does a purple sector 3 as Michael has a bit of a moment on the way into the chicane, but it looks good at the moment. Oh, I had to say it. I had to say it, Michael. I'm so sorry. Oh, I had to say it, didn't I? Out of the final corner, Michael invalidates the lap. I was going to say his first one is looking like it's going to be a clean one for him. That's instant commentator's curse. Ed May would be proud of that one. Wow. Michael, I can only apologise, my friend. Here comes Jakub Szymanski then into the final corner. He gets his foot down, crosses the line. And what is it from him? It's going to be the first lap on the board, surely. A 2:21.386. And now Michael's got to carry on with this damaged car and nurse it around. Pete Harrod goes on to his fast lap then in the Prost, car number 40. Khan Nguyen in the background there, about to start his lap in the Tyrrell. Let's have a quick look at Khan going into turn 1. I love the big PIAA logos on the Tyrrell. It's a fantastic looking car. Very simple livery, but the Tyrrells just work like that. As the next car coming out of the pit lane is going to be Martin Kenyon. I believe he's going to then be followed by Aaron Smith, who's going to be next out. Actually, no, sorry. Toby Ward is already out there on the circuit. There he is. He's made his way out. So now it's Pete Harrod and Khan Nguyen that are the next two to try and set their times. Pete's quite an accomplished drifter in the real world as well, so he knows how to handle a car, does Pete. He doesn't mind them loose. Down the hill out of Bruchet into Speaker's Corner. We'll go on the right front corner, and you can see just how steep it is down the hill. You can see the start-finish straight buildings from when you're at Speaker's Corner, also known previously as Jackie Ick's Corner and No Name. Look at it through Pouhon. So much speed, 129 miles an hour as we hit the outside curb. Then into one of my favourite corners on the circuit, Piff Paff. Such a difficult piece of circuit to get right. Also known as the Fania chicane. Into Campsa. And then Stavolo throws it to the right. Oh, it doesn't quite respond the first time for Pete Harrod. Where's Khan Nguyen? How's he getting on? Not doing too shabby at the moment. Michael Blake is about to reach the pit lane. Just shows you how long the laps are. Flings it to the right now. Tidy section that. Pete Harrod's doing purple sectors all the way through this lap by the look of it. Into the bus stop he goes. Using all of that curb on the way in. This looks like a really good lap from the Prost. It's a yellow fourth sector though, so no improvement there by Pete. Sticks to the right-hand side as he crosses the line. It's another purple sector, 2:21 to beat, and it's a 2:18.779. Brilliant lap time that by Pete Harrod. Khan Nguyen has kept it tidy throughout his lap as well. He stays over to the right-hand side as he crosses the line. What is it he can manage? He does a 2:20.222 and goes in P number 2. Ahead of Jakub Szymanski. Toby Ward then in the Minardi. He's the next car to come across the line. It's going to be the 5th car to start a flying lap in this session. He's joined as well in this run by Martin Kenyon in the Lola. I believe the next cars to make their way out will be Ed May. And I think Aaron Smith going with him. Should see Ed just there. Yep, there he is. And then Aaron Smith is also waiting in the pit lane. Ed May now gets going. And so too does Aaron. They're doing a good job of spacing it out, but at the end of the day, they can leave as much of a gap as they like, really, because, to be honest with you, with how long a lap is around here, they're not going to hold off anybody else's. Oh, I sound like Toby downshifted there just to get a bit more momentum out of the car. Goes down towards Bruce Shea. How good does the Fond Metal logo look on that car? I don't know what it is about it, but it just looks so good. It's so 90s. White, yellow, and the black. Just looks like a big VHS sort of box, doesn't it? Love it. Absolutely love that car. Same with the MasterCard Lola as well, painted by James Leggett, JL Racethetics. Looks stunning. Martin a little bit wide, but manages to keep it all above board on the exit. Toby Ward is doing a good job at the moment. Through the Fania chicane, he's done 40.98. He's the third fastest in Sector 1. Kenyon actually a little bit quicker than him in both sectors so far. Toby's done a 23.2 Sector 3. 22.7 for Martin Kenyon. So Martin is a good half a second quicker right now than Toby Ward. Doing a great job of this lap as things stand. Let's keep our eye on Toby then. He's going to get to the bus stop chicane first. You can hear the previous cars making their way into the pit lane. That's Car Newen. Onto the brakes then goes Toby. Throws it in. Has to tighten up the second part of the chicane. Very careful on the throttle on the exit. That's where the drivers are really being cautious. Across the line he goes. Where does he put himself? And it is third fastest for Toby Ward. 2.3 seconds off the top spot. Martin Kenyon powers out of the final corner in the Lola. He crosses the line and goes third fastest, just behind Car Newen with a 2:20.3. Pete Harrod still comfortable at the top though, 1.4 seconds clear of the rest of the field. And he is looking good at the moment. Next up then, Ed May in the Sauber. We didn't have him with us at the Hungaro Ring, so it's good to have him back once again. Into La Source. You've got to use that dip halfway around the corner to your advantage. Looks like we've got the two Bens, Ben Gregory and Ben Hoffman, lining up to come out next. As Aaron Smith makes his way into turn 1. That is how the pit lane is. You can see Ben Gregory and Ben Hoffman. Looks like Hoffman is going to get going now. And then Mr. Gregory is also going to get rolling as well. They'll, of course, leave a gap between the two of them. Ed May down the Kemmel Straight. Let's see what his first sector looks like. It's a 40.68, so he's only 300ths off what Pete Harrod has done. Very good indeed. He was telling me before that he hated me for this setup, so clearly he's not been getting on with it all night, but if he can get on with it for just this lap and then keep it tidy in the race, then he'll be alright. But Ed really wants to score some championship points. Let's have a look at Aaron Smith. He's coming through Les Combes into Malmedy, the right-hander. Love watching these cars go through that section. The weight transfer, absolutely phenomenal. Now we will still have our two cars on their in-laps down at the bottom of the screen, so you'll have to bear with us on that. The graphics aren't going to quite keep up with what we've got going on this week. There's a purple Sector 2 by Ed May. And he's done a middle sector of a 22.87. That's about 2/10 off what Pete Harrod has done, but he was a good 100th or so faster than him in Sector 2. So this is decent pace by Ed May. Just needs to keep it up. Down towards the very daunting Blanchimont he goes. Over to the left-hand side all the way through that first section, I should say. Then moves over to the right. Aaron Smith has done a purple Sector 3 as well, so some strong sectors here from these guys. Look at the way the car behaves into there. Ed really pushing it. The back end breaks away, but he catches the slide. Lovely stuff by Ed May, and across the line he goes. What time is that? It looked good, and it is very good. 2/10 off Pete Harrod. Ed May goes second fastest with a 2:19.0. Can Aaron Smith improve even on that? He's done two purple sectors on his lap as well. Out the final corner goes the Jordan. Across the line, and he does. Well, does he do a valid time? He must have invalidated it somewhere because it does not go on to the board for Aaron Smith. Unreal. Absolutely unreal, so it doesn't count in the end. That means Aaron Smith is going to be starting from near the back of the grid. Here's Ben Hoffman in the Williams. The Rothmans branded Williams looking very tasty. Unfortunately, his teammate Bart Daleman not with us again this evening. So Ben is flying the flag for Williams and trying to keep those points. He's basically Heinz Harald Frentzen right now. Sliding the back end slightly out the final corner. You can see just how much these cars want to break away. There's Ben Gregory in the Jordan. He's just starting his lap as well. Here goes Ben. Let's show you Blanchimont. Sorry, not Blanchimont. Rouge and Radion. You want to try and avoid that curb on the right-hand side as best you can. That is the one that will upset the car the most. ...138 miles an hour up the Kemmel Straight. I can tell you they're going to be doing more close to 145 miles an hour in decent slipstream through there. But you can guarantee when people start battling and putting one another under a lot of pressure, it is going to be a completely different scenario in how these cars behave and how the drivers can cope with it. We've got a good chunk of the field done and we're only 15 minutes in. This is working very well. Again, I have to tip my hat to the drivers and everyone for their cooperation in making this format work. Looks nice from Ben Gregory through Malmedy as Ben Hoffman makes his way through Pouon. Show you where the cars are on the track at the moment. Well, actually, if we did it by car number, you might be able to see. There you can see that they are nicely spread out at the moment. Cars 17 and 70 are on their way into the pits. Car 85, who we are looking at here, Ben Hoffman, is on a fast lap. So too is Ben Gregory, car 99, and then numbers 13 and 59, which is Adam Hedgecock and Jack Stiles. They are on their out laps. So it spaces out nicely with a good bit of cooperation. Excuse me. Hoffman does a purple sector 2. Ben Gregory not doing any purple sectors yet. Team Zilla Racing in the chat, good to see you. And Aidan Millward, a lap of Spa, and these cars will be about 40 minutes. Well, to be fair, it's not that bad actually. It's more like GT3 lap time, which I'm quite impressed with. Because GT3s are about over 2 minutes 12, 2 minutes 15, aren't they? As Hoffman does another purple sector and goes fastest. Fantastic stuff by Ben Hoffman. 2:18.68. Lovely lap time by Ben. Puts the Williams on pole ahead of the Prost of Pete Harrod. Now what can Ben Gregory do? Across the line he goes. 2:18.680 to beat. And Gregory goes fourth fastest, behind Ed May by a second. There's a big gap in the field there. Very big gap indeed. Takes an age from La Source to Les Combes. I can imagine the Kemmel Straight is pretty lonely. It must feel like Le Mans. Double Gauche. Yeah, apparently Pouon is not the name of it anymore, which is really annoying. Quite like Pouon. I always say when people have a moment through there, they'll have to wipe the poo off. Never mind Pouon. So Adam Hedgecock next up in the number 13 machine, then the first of our Ferraris. Doesn't that look fantastic? Jack Stiles crossing the line. Car 59 makes his way into La Source. We'll see just how long it does take to get the run done here. Look at that, lighting up the race from Jack Stiles. Just tickles the white line with the right wheels of the car. Makes his way down the hill. Look at the acceleration though, it's very impressive still. 138 mile an hour tends to be the top speed of these cars in the standard trim. Even with the medium downforce, they do only 4 miles an hour more than normal. We did about 134 at other rounds of the championship. Ferrari looking very good indeed. There's Pete Newman in the background. He's just come onto his outlap. Let's see how Hedge is doing. Down the hill he goes through Speaker's Corner. And then swoops it around to Double Gauche. Flings it in. Look at the speed that Hedge carries through there. That's just awesome speed. Really awesome speed. He's done 40.94 in Sector 1, which isn't too bad. 32.8 in Sector 2, which is just about what Ben Hoffman did. And his third sector is about to be completed now. It's a 22.9. He's 2/10 off what Ben Hoffman's done. Ben Gregory's done a purple Sector 3 on his in-lap. We've seen a lot of that this season, actually. Drivers doing their fastest times on their in-laps during qualifying. But that's the thing, you get the tyres up to temperature, and of course you get used to how it's behaving, so it all comes to you in the end. Now after Jack Styles, we have Pete Newman and Kevin Zemstra to take to the circuit. But we'll keep our eyes on Hedge now as he comes into the final corner, has a bit of a bobble around on the curb. And then hard onto the brakes into the bus stop. Look at the way the car four-wheel drifts through the first part there. Tidy on the exit, nice and cautious. You could see there for a second just how much wider the front wheels are than the rears. 1.4 seconds off though for Hedge. Not the most impressive of fourth sectors. Cost him quite a bit of time there. Here's Jack Styles. Whoa, lights up the rears as he tries to get on it. And again, straight lines it to the line. And what time does Jack do? Goes into fourth place behind Ed May by exactly a tenth of a second. That's not exactly what he would have wanted in the Ferrari. After great qualifying that nearly put him on pole position at the Hungaroring, Jack would have wanted more from that. Here's Pete Newman next up. Car 59 makes way for car 58, the Benetton Renault. Pete currently finding himself in 5th in the championship. According to my points, he's actually ahead of Jack, but for some reason SDK put Jack ahead of him. Nice and tidy up through Rouge and Radi on there for Pete. And again, down the very long Kemmel straight. Look at this. Is he going to break into 139 miles an hour, I wonder? He is. Sounded like the revs were still increasing. It's very uphill at the Kemmel straight. You don't really realise it when you're in the sims. Oh, Pete's had a moment. Oh, no, it's going to go, and it's completely around. Oh, Pete completely losing it. That'll be what's known in iRacing as a loss of control, and we'll give him an incident point and will invalidate his lap time. He's gone back to the pits. Now Jakub Szymanski will pick up on that and know that he needs to tell the next drivers to basically not wait for 4 cars, but just wait for 3 to go by. That's devastating from Pete Newman. He'll have to start near the back of the grid. But with the slipstream being such a factor here at Spa, I know that he'll still manage to find a way to stick in the pack and fight his way through, so long as he avoids incident in the early stages. Now here's the other Ferrari of Kevin Zemstra. Kevin currently 4th in the championship with 31-point advantage over Pete Newman behind him, and he's done 2 purple sectors at the moment. He was fastest in practice. Kevin waiting for that all-important first victory. We've had 8 races so far this season. 1 won by Jake Blackhall, 1 won by Silas Craig-Vrolic, and the other 6 won by Cam Dance. Kevin is definitely one of those drivers that's knocking on the door of a win. So too, I'd say, is Christian Rose and Pete Newman. Pete's just not had the luck to go with it, unfortunately. Just look at that through Blanchimont, so quick. We've got the 2 McLarens next up, and then it's going to be Cam Dance on his own, basically, to end the session. There's that little drift again on the way into the bus stop as Kevin Zemstra puts his foot down on the exit in the Ferrari. Doesn't straight line it to the right-hand side, which is interesting. Does he go fastest? Yes, he does, by less than a tenth of a second, though. 2 minutes 18.6. Kevin puts Ferrari on top here at Spa Francorchamps. So we've got our 2 McLarens next up then. First up is going to be Silas Craig-Vrolic, 3rd in the championship at the moment, has 1 race win this season. I believe he's had a couple of pole positions as well. He's not actually, no. Jake Blackhall, Kevin Zemstra, Cam Dance, Christian Rose. They're the only drivers that have been on pole so far this season. Silas has not had a pole position. His best qualifying, though, well, he had 3 second places on the trot, actually. Brazil, San Marino, and Spain. Second place in all of those races as well. Here's his teammate, Christian Rose. He's hoping to get through this evening. He's got an injured knee, and typically it's on his left knee as well. But how good does that McLaren look in the West branding as it makes its way down the hill? Certainly sounds good as well, doesn't it? A little rotary engine in these cars. Back on board with Silas Craig-Vrolic as he powers his way up to the end of the Kemmel Straight. Now Cam Dance hasn't got moving yet, but he should do any second now really, because these guys have... Whoa! Hello, that was a scary moment. Cam Dance is now moving. He's gotten going. But yeah, Silas Kragvrolic having a bit of a scary moment there. Nearly completely losing the back end. Look how close he is to that white line. Well, he's on the white line, nearly kissing the grass all the way down there. Let's see what Christian Rose does about that as well. Use the curb on the right-hand side, and then look. Stay very close. Christian not quite as close. Tiny bit of curb on the way in. Bit of curb on the left. Doesn't unsettle the car. Look at how gradual it is, the turn in there into the Fania chicane. Oh, that looked like track limits to me. I think Christian might have got away with it as long as he was on the curb still. Same with that corner there. You have to be so careful about it. So we are going to have 17 cars tonight by the look of it. Celeste Kragvrolic has done a purple sector 3. It's a 2:18.613 to beat. And Ben Hoffman is not far off the top spot still, so I think there's definitely some room for improvement from these guys. Silas kicks the back end out at the final corner, stays all the way over to the right as far as he can, tries to edge out the gap and goes fourth behind Pete Harrod. Wow, that is a surprise, but look how close it is. It's less than 2/10 between the top four. Christian Rose crosses the line, and he manages to go fifth. Wow. So Pete Harrod, well done indeed. He's got a Prost up to third position provisionally. Ben Hoffman has the Williams up in second place. That's exactly the pace that we expected to see from Ben. He's so quick, and was so quick all the way throughout pre-season testing, hence the fact that he finished third out of everybody in the pre-season test and bagged himself a Williams. So far in the championship, Ben is down in 10th with just 21 points though. He's going to be hoping that tonight is the night where he scores plenty of them. So the drivers that don't have valid lap times at the moment, Aaron Smith, Michael Blake and Pete Newman. Those three will be starting at the back of the grid. Here is your championship leader though, everybody. Cam Dance launches his way out of the final chicane. And let's go on board and see how this is from Cam's point of view. He's almost got the championship wrapped up now. Very, very tidy through turn one. And yes, indeed, Gilles Gardner getting it spot on. Even though the lap is nearly 2.5 minutes, the top 7 are separated by less than half a second. It's incredible, isn't it? Cam having a bit of a lift mid-corner there to keep it tidy. Up the Kemmel Straight we go. You can just about see how uphill it is as they go towards the Les Combes chicane. Christian Rose does a purple middle sector on this lap as Cam throws the car through one way then the other, and then over the curb on the exit down towards Bruchet. Now this is one of the trickiest corners because you're turning in, you're downshifting and you're braking as well. That's where this car wants to break away most. This downhill section, a massive challenge. He's using a lot of the curb, is Cam Dance, really attacking it. He's done a purple sector 1 and he's done a purple sector 2. This is looking like another championship point going the way of Cam Dance. He's done a 40.63 in sector 1. Pete Harrod did a 40.65. 32.41 in sector 2. No one's gone into the 32.4s. There was actually a 32.5 from Christian Rose. So Shifty's certainly been on the pace in sector 2. What's his sector 3 looking like? Well, 22.61. Still quicker, but it's not quicker than Jack Stiles. Jack Stiles has the purple sector 3 at the moment and holds on to it for even longer. Oh, apologies. Christian Rose has it, actually. 22.54. Very quick. Third sector. Are we going to see another purple from Cam Dance? He's about to complete the fourth sector now. It's a personal best. 29.73. We've had 29.65 from Kevin Zemstra. Cam Dance makes his way out of the final corner. I think this is going to be tight, you know. Let's have a look what he does. It's a 2:18.6 to beat. And I think it's a 2:18.5. And it is. Cam Dance goes on pole position once again. It's another championship point in the bag for the championship leader. And Benetton have yet another pole position to add to their tally, and so too does Cam. This boy is absolutely unstoppable at the moment. I could hear a big sigh from everybody else in the Discord. What a brilliant lap that is, though, by Cam Dance. That is going to be, as I look at the current records, that's going to be his 4th pole position of the season. Cam Dance out of 9 races. And the session comes to an end. And, well, everybody now has to figure out what on earth they're going to do to try and stick with this boy. We'll have a quick look at the grid, or at least we'll have a look at the qualifying result, shall we? And show you exactly how that all looks. There you go. Sorry, it was taking a second to load. So Cam Dance takes pole position, then Kevin Zemstra second for Ferrari, less than a tenth of a second between them. And then Ben Hoffman and Pete Harrod. That's a great second row of the grid. Silas Craig-Vrolick and Christian Rose make it an all-McLaren row 3. Ed May and Jack Stiles are 7th and 8th, with Ben Gregory and Adam Hedgecock rounding out your top 10. But just over half a second between the top 8 cars. That is very, very impressive. Pete Newman's going to start 15th with Aaron Smith behind him, and then Michael Blake starting his first race in the championship at the very back of the pack. Everybody out there now getting their practice times in, or getting as much practice in as they can. And it's understandable, really, isn't it? Because, as we've seen, the setup is very difficult to deal with. I'm just going to take a quick break here on Chaz Drake Up Media, everybody. If you just bear with me for 5 minutes, I'm going to put the cameras on auto for you, so you're going to look at a number of the different cars. It may flick around a little bit, but I'm just going to take a quick break, just get a new drink and everything, and I'll be back with you very, very soon. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott here for the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. Round 9 underway at the moment at the wonderful circuit Spa Francorchamps. And with qualifying all done, it's going to be another pole position for Cam Dance. His teammate Pete Newman, who is currently fastest in the warm-up, well, he's got a lot of work to do starting from near the back of the grid. So too does Aaron Smith and the man we were looking at just a moment ago, Michael Blake, in the Arrows Yamaha, making his debut this evening. He's going to be teamed up with Rob Lundgren for the rest of the season. Only 4 more races to come after this one, and it's going to fly by very quickly. On the 7th of September we go to Italy, to Monza for the Italian Bore Prix. We then go to the Red Bull Ring on the 28th of September in Austria. Then we have the European Bore Prix, which is going to be at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit on the 19th of October. And then on the 9th of November, we finish the season in Japan at Suzuka. And I cannot wait for that one. That's going to be probably one of the best Bore Prix of the lot. Now, the medium downforce setup that we're using tonight, just to help the cars around this circuit grab a little bit more pace, is also going to be used at Monza as well. So the slipstreaming there is going to be just as immense as we see it tonight. The cars were doing 139 miles an hour on their own up the Kemmel Straight. Usually they do about 134 miles an hour flat out, so there is a bit of an improvement of speed there, to say the least. But of course, it means that when they slipstream each other, it's going to get even closer and closer, as Toby Ward pays us a very close visit to where the camera is located. Thanks very much, Toby. I'm not sure if he knew that. He's the sort of guy that probably would know that, to be fair, is Toby. Ed May's just gone fastest in warm-up with a 2:18.8 in the Sauber. He said earlier he was chuffed with his lap. He could have tried to find a few more tenths, but the risk of an off-track was not worth it. Ben Hoffman says, what's going on? Well, Ben will be very happy, starting 3rd on the grid. Kevin Zemstra on the front row once again for Ferrari. He's definitely going to be one to watch. As well, there's Martin Kenyon on the side of the road in the Lola. We've only got 1 more minute of warm-up left to go now, and then it'll be time to get round 9 of 13 in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship underway. As well, now Carn Newen spun a Formula 3 car there once, and it made it onto the iRacing Not Top 10 highlights because of my awful pun about his name, saying that he's broken his car and now he needs a new one. I can't even repeat it properly, so I apologise. Here's Adam Hedgecock down towards Blanchimont. Let's go on board through Blanchimont and just see how difficult it is, because it doesn't look too bad like that, does it? But it can break away so quickly. And let's stick with him through the bus stop chicane onto the brakes. You can see the car trying to move around a little bit. No weight over the rear end to help it. And then very gentle on the throttle out of there. You've got to have a lot of confidence. There's going to be a number of spins with people getting on the power in certain places. I think either out of here at La Source or out of the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap. We're going to see a lot of spins there. I imagine we're going to see a lot in Les Combes as well, because that is a circuit, a corner on this circuit where you have to carry a hell of a lot of speed. Right then, warm-up complete, and the drivers will now take to the grid. Let's get them all lined up, shall we? They all make their way onto the grid as Cam Dance will take pole position. Kevin Zemstra alongside him for Ferrari, looking for that first win of the season. Ben Hoffman and Pete Harrod make up row 2, Williams versus Prost. Then we have the all McLaren row 3 that we mentioned, Silas Kragvrolic alongside Christian Rose. Ed May starts 7th with Jack Stiles in 8th. Then we have Ben Gregory in 9th position and Adam Hedgecock starting 10th. Carn Newen is 11th ahead of Martin Kenyon. Then we have Toby Ward, Jakub Szymanski, Pete Newman, Aaron Smith and Michael Blake. So the revs are rising now, and 15 laps at Spa Francorchamps in the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship gets underway. And Ed May's gone nowhere. Ed May does not move off the line, and he's dropped right to the back of the field. It looks like a nice tidy start by Kevin Zemstra. Ben Hoffman's got Silas Kragvrolic around his outside. Pete Newman, Pete Harrod has got the better of him. Toby Ward is up 3 places already. Pete Newman's there in the middle of the pack. He's got Jakub Szymanski to his left. Now let's see what the slipstreaming is like as they make their way up the hill. We'll go on board with Pete Newman. He's hoping to get enough space to his left-hand side, and he does. You don't need to worry too much about using every inch of the road here, as they're very, very close together, as Kevin Zemstra has taken the lead of the race. Now look at Pete Harrod, look at Silas Kragvrolic, look at Ben Hoffman. They're nearly 5 wide as they come into Lake Com. Silas Kragvrolic tries it around the outside of the McLaren. Is he going to get it done? I think he is. Oh, Silas is sideways in front of the pack. Ben Hoffman's off as well. Pete Harrod leads the race, but Ben Hoffman is around. Where did Kevin Zemstra go? Kevin somehow survived that. He's 3 wide with his teammate and Christian Rose. Oh my word. Nearly contact between the two. Oh, Pete Newman's over and he's rolled. Pete Newman is over big time. Who else was involved in that? Michael Blake. Michael Blake is involved and he's got big damage to that car. Pete Newman straight back to the pits and his torrid season continues. Pete has had absolutely zero luck. Let's have a look then at exactly what happened between these guys. So Kevin Zemstra went past Cam Dance at the top of the hill. Here's a bird's eye view of it. Just skims the back of the car. Now look at the slipstream there from Pete Harrod in the blue machine. Oh, he couldn't quite decide whether he wanted to go through the middle. Look at Ben Hoffman closing in. Now watch Ben just behind Pete Harrod in the all-black Prost. Ben backs out early. Does he just lose it on the curb himself? Yeah, it's already going there. Silas loses it. Kevin has a bit of a wiggle as well. Pete Harrod through the middle, thank you very much. And then look at Jack Stiles there, take advantage of the two of them go down the inside. Now this is Pete Newman. He's the blue car in the middle of all this. He's got the 2 Lolas in front of him. Has a bit of a wiggle. Oh, and he gets collected by Khan and then put across into Michael Blake. Don't think he was expecting him to brake that soon as Hedgecock is around. Hedgecock's been clipped in the final chicane. He lights it up as he first lap. Pete Harrod leads, Cam Dance second. Then it's Kevin Zemstra. Then Jack Stiles. Cam Dance has nailed Pete Harrod. And unbelievably, Ferraris have 1 and 2. Cam Dance has got damage to his front wing. But there's big contact into La Source and Pete Harrod is backwards. Oh, man. We need to have a look back and see exactly what happened to Adam Hedgecock in a moment. But these guys are about to slipstream each other down the straight. Let's see how this goes. 2 Ferraris together. Oh, Cam's found a gap in the middle, or has he? No, he backs out of that one. Christian Rose thinks about it as well. Now you've got Jack Stiles leading this race. Kevin Zemstra on his inside. Are the two of them going to work together? It looks like Kevin's going to inherit that lead. Ben Gregory down the inside of Christian Rose for 4th. Ferrari, Benetton, Jordan, McLaren, and then Toby Ward as... Oh, Ed May. Ed May is off. He's lost time. Recovers in front of Pete Harrod, who gets going again. I believe Pete Newman is already out of this race. It's a massive shame for him. Like I say, he just had that huge off. So he's in the middle there behind the 2 Lolas. Loses it one way then the other, and it's just an ongoing accident, and Michael Blake just tips him over, and well, there was nothing really any of them could have done there. It was all just very close quarters, wasn't it? Let's have a look at what happened to Adam Hedgecock. So he was around in the chicane. Oh, he's been clipped by Martin Kenyon, who goes in a little bit too hot. And then Ed May had his moment further around the lap as well. Oh, he was trying to fight Jakub Szymanski and got it sideways on the curb. So, let's recap then. Kevin Zemstra leads, Jack Stiles is second, then it's Cam Dance and Ben Gregory who are glued together, then it's the 2 McLarens, Christian Rose and Silas Kragvrolic, the 2 positions they were in when they started, but just the other way around. Ben Gregory down the inside on the brakes, puts the Jordan up into 3rd place. Now he and Jack Stiles have both gained 6 places so far in this race. They're having a fantastic run in the opening exchanges. Ferrari 1 and 2. Followed by Jordan Benetton, 2 McLarens, then a Minardi. Toby Ward up 6 places as well. Same with Jakub Szymanski, but he has damage to his wing. Pete Harrod's got a trio behind him with Ed May, Khan Newen and Aaron Smith. They all take it nice and tidy. Back down the hill they go. Michael Blake is back out on track. He's just about to come into the final chicane, but he's not having the first race in the championship that he would have wanted. Now look at this lead sextet, the 6 of them together. Ben Gregory has a massive slipstream on Jack Stiles, moves out to the right hand side. Is he even going to take the lead before they get to Lake Com? He is. Ben Gregory down the inside takes the lead for Jordan. Phenomenal stuff. Ben Gregory leads the Belgian Bore Prix after starting 9th on the grid. Great opening couple of laps for him. And this is exactly what we've come to expect from the championship. It's just the guys have to be even more careful on the brakes now when they're close to the cars in front of them. Michael Blake there just to prove that he's still running just over the top of the hill. Here's Jakub Szymanski behind Ben Hoffman. Then Ed May is ahead of Pete Harrod and Aaron Smith. There's going to be a lot of position changing going on throughout this race. But up at the front, Ben Gregory leading for Jordan. He's got the 2 Ferraris behind him. And then the Benetton and the 2 McLarens. How good a sight is that as they go through the Fania chicane? I think me and James have done a decent job of getting the proportions right on these liveries. But Ben doing a fantastic job so far. All of them on a fixed setup as well. It's basically the medium setup from iRacing, medium downforce setup, just with a fuel limit. Now look at the slipstream. Look at that. As we go on board with Kevin Zemstra, you can see he's backing out of it here, but he's easily got the capability of going over 140 miles an hour. But look, he's just waiting and waiting and waiting. Now what's going to come from behind? Are we going to see any moves from these guys, or are they going to sit in formation and save fuel? Toby Ward up in this in 7th place in the Minardi. This is great stuff by Toby. Just trying to have a look at what his best result is this season. So bear with me while I have a look, because he had a number of DNFs in the middle as he nearly clips the back of the McLaren. Oh boy, that was a close one. He did finish 9th at Silverstone. And the last one, actually, at Hungary, he finished in 8th position. So he's not too far off it, but he's lost a bit of ground now, of course, dropping back. Let's just have a look at the front, though, shall we? Go back onto some sort of chopper camera so you can see everything. Look, the 2 Ferraris are just sitting behind Ben Gregory, and Cam isn't even using the slipstream. He doesn't want to get the overspeed on the other guys. None of them really want to push hard enough to go past each other. There's a bit of a check up in the middle of them there. 2 Ferraris slowing Cam down a little bit. This is the part of the race now where it's all going to settle slightly, and they're not going to go to make a move at every single corner. Got this battle turning into a 5-car scrap now. Ben Hoffman ahead of Jakub Szymanski, Ed May, Pete Harrod, and then Aaron Smith. Points do go down to 12th position in the championship, so each of these guys on to score points at the moment. Khan Newen is just there in the background in the Tyrrell. He's got a bit of wing damage as well. But we've got purple sectors from people all over the order because of the fact that they've got all this slipstream. But look at that, I absolutely love it. And Gregory being a hero so far, but he is the one that's going to be using all of the fuel. Now, because it's a shorter race, they can pit from the end of lap 6 onwards. Usually the pit window is lap 8 onwards. But for this Grand Prix in particular, or Bore Prix, sorry, it is lap 6 and later. Now Ben Hoffman is slowly closing in on Toby Ward here. He's just under a second behind him, and you do get slipstream up to about 1.4 seconds back as Ed May makes a move on his mate Jakub Szymanski in the Lola. Jakub may be nursing a bit of damage on the front left of that wing. Ed May goes through. Now can Pete Harrod make a move of this as well in the Prost? He's going to try and go around the outside onto the brakes. Jakub goes back down the inside of Ed May into the bus stop. Oh, there's contact in front and Silas is around. Silas Craig Frolic. Now, was he clipped by Toby Ward? Silas drags the car back. But that looked like big damage on that rear wing. Let's have another look at how that came to be. So this is Toby Ward overtaking him. He's down the inside. He's down the inside for a while as well. And, whoa. Did you see anything? Let's have a look at Silas. He's dropped down to 12th position now. Is there just big netcode going on here? Let's have a look. So Toby is down the inside. Oh, so Silas... Right, so Silas hits the back of Toby's car, then gets nailed by Ben Hoffman. And he's going to want to pit ASAP in that, as Ben Gregory, I think, has had a bit of a moment through Les Comps. Gets overtaken by both the Ferraris, so Kevin Zemstra re-inherits the lead of this race. But look at this train. We've got all of them all together, all the way down to 11th position Imagine being Aaron Smith and looking forward and seeing that the leader is less than 4 seconds ahead of you. This is Boremula 1, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we roll. Now that looks like a bit of a slowdown potentially for Jakub Szymanski. He runs very wide out of Speaker's Corner. But this is why we love this sort of racing though. Look at it. These cars have been so enlightening to what is good racing, honestly. I couldn't be more pleased with how it's going so far. A third of the way through this race already. Pit stops can start at the end of the next lap, and that's when you are going to see damage like this repaired. I mean, it was on medium downforce anyway. Silas is doing an incredible job to push that car around, still at good pace. Oh no, Szymanski. Jakub Szymanski's off and in the wall. Not sure whether he's had any contact, but we'll have a look. Oh, he's just pushed it way too hard, clipped the gravel, and then Ben Hoffman had an issue. Oh no, oh Ben! Oh, that's a big old hit. I think, yeah, Ben's jumped back to the pits. Oh, that's a real shame. We lost 2 cars from that immense train that we had going on. If we go to the blimp, you'll see it. I mean, look at that. That is the lead battle right there, everybody. 1st to 9th. You've got Pete Harrod all over. Sorry, Ed May all over the back of Toby Ward there in the middle. Ed tries to go down the inside. Doesn't quite work for him, so he doesn't complete the move. But isn't this great? Jakub Szymanski's had more problems, I think, because of the damage. He's making his way back into the pits, and he has driven it in, so he doesn't have to tow it back and wait a couple of minutes. Now remember, 139 miles an hour on its own, and already at the crest at the top, Ed May is doing 143. He's going to run out of gears in a moment. 146 miles an hour, 147 miles an hour, and he backs off. No change of position further up, but there was a bit of jostling going on. And further back, we've got Khan Newen all over the back of Silas Craig-Vrolik. Silas will surely pit this time round and just get done with that damage, as Michael Blake has had a problem. I said there was no shuffling of the positions at the front, but actually Jack Stiles overtook his teammate Kevin Zemstra. There's that little moment by Michael Blake. That was the moment where Jack Stiles got past his teammate. He decided to then sort of half defend from Ben Gregory in the middle of all of that. But there is your train. Christian Rose still in the thick of it in the middle. Ed May trying to get around Toby Ward. Goes around the outside into the Fania chicane. Lovely move by Ed May. Look at how many different manufacturers we've got in this as well. We've got the 2 Ferraris, 2 Jordans, a Benetton McLaren, Sauber, Minardi and Prost. All within this top 9 battle. That's great. Exactly what we want. To have all the manufacturers mixed up a little bit. Now, what does Aaron Smith do here? He's been very patient so far in the Jordan, saving fuel. The question is going to be, how many of them are going to benefit from pitting early and pitting now? Because this is the first opportunity for them to come into the pits. And down the inside goes Pete Harrod on Toby Ward. Aaron Smith has a look, and into the pits goes Christian Rose. Oh, that's wonderful by Aaron Smith. Jakub Szymanski, I believe, is out of the race with no way of getting back into the train. And Silas Craig-Vrolik has carried on, which I find interesting. So surely the damage isn't that bad. He's just lost a lot of ground. But with these guys all slowing each other down, he's clearly going to try and get back in amongst it. Let's go back to the front of this, because Ben Gregory is putting pressure all over the back of that Ferrari. Cars 88 and 99. Too close together for their own good. Zemstra gets a great run on Stiles. Gregory's got a great run on Zemstra. They're 3 wide down the Kemmel straight. Nearly contact between the two. Gregory's on the left. He's going to be on the outside into Les Combes. He's got fantastic overspeed. What does Stiles do here? That's the question. Gregory brakes as late as he dares and goes through into the race lead. So Gregory pushing on. He doesn't want to hang about. He doesn't want to mess about here. And Pete Harrod and Ed May have suddenly clung onto this as well. Ed May up into 5th place. Pete Harrod started this race in 4th, obviously leading earlier, and got turned around by Cam Dance. He's going to want to exact vengeance, I imagine, by overtaking Cam on the road again and saying, look, I can stick with you, mate. But this is a very intense Bore Prix so far. Now, what do the 2 Ferraris do? Because they are working together very well so far, but Ben Gregory is not waiting around for anybody, is he? He's had a fantastic middle sector on this lap. Now the Jordans bookending this 7-car fight. Anyway, Aaron Smith, by the way, has gained 9 places. Ben Gregory has gained 8. Jordan had their highest scoring run at the Hungarian Bore Prix last time out. The two of them finishing in 5th and 6th place. And Ben's going to be hoping to get even more points out of this escapade. Down towards Blanchimont they go again. Are we going to see any pit stops this time round? Now, side by side in the background there, Ed May and Cam Dance. Cam's on the outside. Whoa! Ed goes late on the brakes, nearly clips the back of Jack Styles. That was a scary old moment. Some of them dive to the pits, both Ferraris and Cam Dance coming in. Now, don't do a coulthard. Don't hit the pit wall. Aaron Smith and Toby Ward are also in as well. There you see them further down. Silas Kragvrolik also coming into the pits. So Ben Gregory continues on in the race lead from Ed May and Pete Harrod. We'll show you the pit stops on the left. Now, if you do get big damage early on in the race that you have to pit for, then that basically means that you can have that as your stop and then make it to the end. Christian Rose has got back ahead of these guys by the look of it. Some of them are coming out of the pits just now on the right-hand side. He's beaten one of the Ferraris, which is Jack Styles, but he's not beaten Kevin Zemstra. However, he's going to have a massive overspeed now starting from this far back. We'll stay with him and see how this looks. Very noisy curb. Look at this overspeed, man. That is disgusting. Christian Rose all over the back of the Ferrari. Gradually makes his way out to the left-hand side. In the background as well, Cam Dance now with his fixed front wing. Clings to the back of Jack Styles. Those two teammates at Orbit Motorsport. Oh, there's a bit of a kiss there from the back of Jack Styles' car. I think Cam did give him a tap. As oh, no. That is Silas Kragvrolik in the wall. Where is that? Is that down at the Fania chicane? Oh no, that's... Whoa, 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 whoa. What has happened there? I thought that was down at Fania, not down at the bottom of the hill. So Silas gets going. Very strange. Now I'm not sure if he's maybe been done for speeding in the pits or something, or whether he's had a hardware problem here. Let's have a look. Ah, yeah, so, yeah, look. Something went wrong there and he kissed the wall. I'm not sure whether he did that or whether there was some sort of hardware problem, but it seemed like it just locked going to the right, and that's his race done. Now this is a battle for the lead. Ed May and Ben Gregory and Pete Harrod. Now the three of them don't want to fight too hard here, because if they're going to pit soon, they need to make it clear and they need to work their strategies. Pete Harrod brakes very early. He goes around the outside of Ben Gregory, who I'm pretty sure is going to pit this time round. And Ed May flings it into the pits. Pete Harrod carries on. Whoa, Ed sideways clips the wall. He gets a fast repair though, so he's going to be all right. But wow, that was a scary moment. Now here are the usual leaders, or what is effectively the lead group now, with the pit stops being pretty much complete. The three cars we just saw come in there are the last ones to stop. Well, actually, no, Pete Harrod isn't coming in, is he? Shut up, Chaz. Across the line then goes Christian Rose. Let's have a look at the pit lane. There's Ben Gregory getting going, and then Ed May loses time in the pits to him. And I think Christian Rose has got it done. Yep, somehow the McLaren has ended up at the front of this race, so he's done the undercut. Ed May is going to fall prey to Aaron Smith here. Surely we'll look back from the Sauber. We'll have to see how Pete Harrod's worked this one out as well, actually, because he's surely going to be going well when he comes out of the pits, although the undercut seems like the more potent strategy. There's a swap between Cam Dance and Jack Styles. Aaron Smith is willing to work with Ed May here as they move forward. Kevin Zemstra stays in front of Cam Dance. Jack Styles behind him, then Ben Gregory. 6th place overall at the moment, but technically 5th. Well, I suppose it depends where this man comes back out. Pete Harrod. Some of these guys are nearly 8/10 quicker than Pete in the first sector. Cam Dance in particular, 8/10 faster in the first sector alone because of the slipstream. That's just how massive it is around here, but that's part of the racing. That's part of the game you've got to play in Formula 1. You have to be very patient. Silas Kragvrolik now unfortunately out of the race, which is a big shame. But it's always tough in this championship, even on the high downforce setup. And apparently Silas was just, well, apparently he was just looking at his brake bias. Ben Hoffman was saying that he was just trying to leave space. And he just ran wide, clipped the gravel, and off he went. Now here is Pete Harrod into the pits then. Such a scary pit entry, isn't it? Coasts all the way down. He's going to make this as short as possible. Time is now ticking down as the guys will come out of the final corner. Pete will come to a stop there. Stops as late as he dares. Gets ready, takes only a splash of fuel. Will take, what, 6, 7 seconds? 8 seconds, 9. He's taken a lot more than some of these other guys have. Pete Harrod drops down 10.5 seconds. And Christian Rose inherits the lead of the race outright now. So the battle rages on. And you can see the guys in the background have started to catch up to this. Pete Harrod isn't too far off the back of Aaron Smith. Let the battle commence over these last 5 laps at Spa Francorchamps. Let's go on board with Jack Stiles, shall we? Because he is right up behind Cam Dance. And this is where the sharp end is. Now look, Cam Dance has moved out of the way here. He says to Jack, go on then, you try it, mate. Now Cam's going to get the slipstream from Kevin. Jack moves over to the right to sort of say, go on Cam, you can go into that gap if you want, mate. Who's going to make moves on who? Jack Stiles has massive overspeed though. He's down the inside of Kevin. Doesn't work. Cam Dance lets him go in front. Aaron Smith now watching all of this from further afield. Pete Harrod will be with them if this carries on like this. But Christian Rose in the McLaren started 6th on the grid. Didn't have the qualifying he would have expected. He's got an injured knee and he is leading the Belgian Bore Prix. I said earlier that he's one of the drivers that's knocking on the door for a race win. And I would absolutely, I mean, remaining unbiased of course, but Shifty's a long-time friend of mine within sim racing. I would love to see Christian taste the top step of the podium. I'm not saying I want him to fall over on it, but you know what I mean. Cam Dance will be playing the mind games here though. We know that Cam can just win these races in the final laps. Now you don't want to be the car leading everybody coming up to Blanchimont, because you will see in a moment that the slipstream there is huge as well. It makes an incredible difference in these little cars. I mean, have a look at this now. If we go on board with Cam, watch even the slipstream you get here up to Blanchimont. This is the real moment where the race will be decided, I think. Look at that. It's nearly 10 miles an hour more for every car behind. I'm telling you now, the race is going to get decided here. Look at them all lifting because they don't want to overtake Christian Rose. This is the mind games. You can argue it's not intense racing when they're all backing off from each other, as Ed May doesn't back off from anything. Down the inside he goes into 5th place on Ben Gregory. The two Jordans now reunited in the middle of the field. Gregory ahead of Aaron Smith, then Pete Harrod at the back of this, able to watch it all unfold. But you do not want to be the car that leads onto the final lap going up to Blanchimont, I can tell you that. And at the moment it looks like Christian Rose is going to be that guy, because Zemstra, Stiles and Dance all backed out as they made their way up there last time round. Up the hill they go. That was a big blink in and out there. Who was that? Jack Stiles disappearing for just a moment. It comes back on and blinks in and out again. That's scary and actually affects the slipstream. At the end of the day, if the car isn't there in the sim, it cannot provide slipstream to anybody. Look at them all moving on the right hand side. Pete knows he doesn't need the slipstream as Zemstra goes to the front. Down the inside of Christian Rose he goes. Ed May and Cam Dance are still side by side. Ed's not really backing out from anything, is he? He really wants to pick a fight with these guys at the front of the field, but importantly Kevin Zemstra leads the Belgian Bore Prix. And then it's Christian Rose and Jack Stiles now. So Christian is a McLaren sandwich with Ferrari Italian bread. I'll have a 6-inch McLaren on Hearty Italian, please. Great stuff once again, though. Epic entertainment from the Formula 1 World Championship. Look at it. That is the lead battle that you're looking at. You can't even see all of it. You can't even fit it all in shot. We have 8 cars separated by 2 seconds. Now, if this isn't a great advert for the championship, I don't know what is, but this is awesome fun so far. A lot of incident points there. Now, there is an incident limit as well. Once the drivers hit 25 incidents, they get 5 seconds added to their total race time. Every 2 incidents they then go over that, they get another 5 seconds. And that can add up very quickly. Just ask Morgan Butler after his race at Imola. Look at that through Blanchimont. Amazing stuff. Side by side in the middle there between Ed May and Cam Dance once again. Watch Ed on the brakes. He's going to go as late as he dares. Oh, nearly into the back of Jack Stiles. Christian Rose is around the outside of Jack. Now he's down the inside. Ferrari on the outside. Nearly contact between the two of them for second place. Jack's going to have the inside line for La Source. Now watch Ben Gregory as well in the first of the two Jordans. Just watch all of them. Just keep your eye on what they do. There's so much that they can do. Ben Gregory has a bit of a lock-up. Jack Stiles is trying to get second place and help his teammate. He's trying to upset Christian Rose's rhythm here because Kevin Zemstra can break away if this continues. But Kevin has a 7/10 of a second gap now back to Christian. And trust me, that's going to disappear very, very quickly right now. Jack is trying to get the slipstream from his teammate though. But look at this. Watch how quickly these guys close in now. The gap started as 7/10. Look at that. It's like they've got double the horsepower, isn't it? That's scary. That is very scary as it gets very close in the middle. Ed May was right in the thick of that. Somehow doesn't make contact with anybody. Oh, he does. He makes contact with Jack Stiles. Cam Dance is involved. I think Aaron Smith's off the road as well, but Ed May, well, I said he didn't back out of anything. He went for the gap in the middle. He tried to slot in as best as he could, and he clipped the back of Jack Stiles. Somehow Jack has carried on and not even lost a position from it. But it has thrown a big old hole in the pack, that one. Wow. Well, let's have a look at exactly... Oh, Ed May's gone back to the pits. No. Let's keep our eye on Ed then, shall we? So Ed is the dark blue car on the left. He does see a gap in the middle, and he sort of goes for it. Cam avoids him. Blinks in and out for a second. They both nearly hit Jack on the way in. And he tries to follow him through, and Jack just cuts across to the inside line again. Cam hits him quite hard. Aaron Smith actually loses out quite a lot from that. Now what happens to Ed? Is the car broken? Oh, it's not straight, is it? Oh, Ed. That is absolutely gutting. Kevin Zemstra still leads this race. Christian Rose has gone with him though, and they've got 8/10 over Cam Dance, but this is not over yet. Jack is still trying to fight with Cam as hard as possible to distract him from going after the two leaders. You can hear them all spinning up the rears out of there. Toby Ward's still going well, by the way. He's in 8th position. He's got quite a lot of daylight around him. Adam Hedgecock has got Michael Blake within a second, so these guys get to fight. They've got 2 seconds ahead to Carn Newen. There's a quick look at where everybody is on the track at the moment. It's Martin Kenyon that's pretty much on his own further down, as Michael Blake has come back into the pits. Not quite sure why that is, but Christian Rose gets the race lead. Now these guys are going to start being a bit more aggressive now in the latter stages, I feel. Cam Dance all over the back of Zemstra, who brakes just in time to not hit the back of Christian. Now Michael Blake, I think, has gone straight through the pits, hasn't he? Or has he just had a late pit stop? Now Michael repaired damage earlier on in the race, didn't he? I don't think anybody told him that you can count that if it's a meatball flag anyway, as they call it, the black and orange flag. And you can carry on, basically. We set it so that people that have an off early on in the race can continue and get their race back and have a second chance at it. This is Aaron Smith in 7th position. He's now back with this train, sort of. It's not as close as it was a lap or two ago. But now, as long as you finish the race, you will score championship points. That's basically how it is. Look how sideways Aaron Smith is on the way in there. He's a very talented NASCAR driver on iRacing, so he's certainly quite accustomed to something that doesn't want to turn in and making it turn in. Or something that maybe wants to turn in too much and controlling it. Look at the top 4 glued together now, this quartet. Any one of them could still win this race. Christian Rose leading them at the minute. Pete Harrod could still win this race. Ben Gregory or Aaron Smith could still win this race, if I'm honest with you. It is very close as we go on to the penultimate lap of round 9 of the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. And the intrigue continues to build, doesn't it? Carl Newen on for a top 10 as well at the moment. He's in 9th place. He's got Adam Hedgecock closing in on him. Adam is now within a second and inside the top 10 after his earlier accident. And Ben Hoffman had a big mistake, actually. Mr. Reagan had a big off on the exit of Stavilo, is it? The right-hander. He had a big off at Stavilo. Just left a little bit too much room on the outside for Ed May, or tried to be on the outside and leave room for Ed. Left a bit too much and clipped the gravel. Now look at this by Hedgecock. Gets big slipstream off Carl Newen. Slides his way past into 9th position. A lot of space given by Khan. Nice respectful stuff. And through he goes. Now it's close further up because Pete Harrod is under attack from Ben Gregory here. He's on the outside through Double Gauche. Still on the outside on the exit of Double Gauche. Now he doesn't want this battle to go on too long because he doesn't want to lose the train in front. That's one thing you really need to think about here. Christian Rose has got a 7/10 gap ahead of Zemstra right now, because he is under increasing pressure from the championship leader. Cam Dance really doesn't have as much to lose as these guys here. He's got an 80-point lead in the championship, so he can throw whatever he wants at this right now. He's got points to burn. Oh yeah, Hoff the track has been used before, actually, as a pun to those of you in the YouTube chat. Pete Harrod very late on the brakes there in the Prost. Look, suddenly closes back in and it's all fair game again. Final lap of the Bore Prix then. Christian Rose leads, Kevin Zemstra second, then it's Cam Dance, Jack Stiles, Pete Harrod, Ben Gregory and Aaron Smith, your top 7. Separated by 2.2 seconds as they cross the line. Let's go on board with Aaron and see what we can see from here, shall we? I think maybe the main camera point for us should be Pete Harrod, really, because he's a bit closer to the back of Jack Stiles. I'll tell you what, why don't we sod it and go to a chopper view, because then we'll see all of it. Cam Dance moves to the left-hand side of Kevin Zemstra. They're all pushing. Cam goes for the gap in the middle, and he's going to puncture that straight through. The Benetton goes to the front of the field, or does he? Because now Kevin Zemstra's on the inside. Is Kevin going to break later? He is, and Kevin gets in front and takes the race lead. Jack Stiles gets very close to Christian Rose for 3rd, and he goes through. Christian goes to 4th, or does he? Hangs on round the outside. Pete Harrod wants a piece of this as well now. He goes to the outside. Ben Gregory's looking down the inside as well into Bruchet. Jack Stiles brakes very hard, twitches the car sideways to make sure he doesn't go into the back of the McLaren. You've got to say Cam Dance is looking good right now. He may be in 2nd position, but he's going to be all over the back of Kevin Zemstra as they go up towards Blanchimont at the end of the lap. Look how close they are together. Jack Stiles down the inside into Double Gauche. He needs to get on with this now. He needs to push past Christian Rose. Every second and every corner that he does not make a move, the cars behind him get an extra chance at trying to make it through past him as well. Pete Harrod is pushing harder than ever now from 5th place, just trying to get to 4th. He's got the 2 Jordans buzzing around, and Jack Stiles is sideways, and 2 of them come together. Oh, the 2 Jordans make it through. Aaron Smith gains his 12th position of the race. And here we go then, looking at the front. Kevin Zemstra leads, but what about Cam Dance? Championship leader, he's won 6 races so far. Kevin has not won one yet. Let's see what this happens. Well, I can't even get my words out. Here we go. Kevin glues it to the inside, puts the car in the middle of the road. It's good placement. Cam's going to try and go the long way round, and he is down the inside. Oh, Kevin tries to squeeze him to the inside curb. Doesn't quite work. Can he get something done on the exit, though? Because Cam's going to go deep down the inside. Or is he going to do it again? Is Cam going to get his 7th win of the season? You bet your bottom dollar he is. Cam Dance wins the Belgian Bore Prix from Kevin Zemstra and Christian Rose. Aaron Smith and Ben Gregory get Jordan's best result of the season. Pete Harrod finishes in 6th place with Toby Ward looking like he's going to bring it home in 7th for his best result of the season once again. Take that, he says. Another great result for him. Adam Hedgecock is next up. He's going to finish ahead of Jack Stiles, who goes very deep into the final chicane. Is Carn Newen going to be able to take advantage of that? No, he is not. 9th place for Jack Stiles. Carn Newen in 10th. But Cam Dance once again takes a win in the Boremula 1 World Championship. Wow. Let's have a look at what happened then in the latter stages there, because Jack Stiles goes into the Fania chicane, then through the left, and just the weight transfer gives up on him. There's a bit of a push. Ben Gregory into the back of Pete Harrod. And it's just the tiniest little touch, isn't it? Watch this. There. It's already gone. It goes straight away for Jack. He's pushing as hard as he dares. And it's around, and then Pete has to wait as he gets out of the way. That's absolutely devastating stuff for Jack. He was having such a good run in 4th position, but look, it's already gone there. Pete's backing out of it, and Ben, well, to be honest, it's hard to react when you're all that close together, and Ben just goes into the back of him. Let's have a look at it from Cam Dance's point of view then. This is the final few corners. Look how far back he is to begin with. Closing, closing, closing. Seems like Zemstra didn't give enough of a gap round the outside. Well, he left too much room round the outside. I mean, fair play to Cam. He's not completely off the road. It's a great move. Absolutely inch perfect stuff from Cam Dance. And he gets it stopped as much as he needs to for the final corner. That is why he is the championship leader, everybody. That is beautiful stuff. Kevin Zemstra, very strong 2nd place, though. He'll be pleased with that because it's good points. But what an amazing Belgian Bore Prix. More fantastic entertainment. Hope you all enjoyed that one. We're going to take a quick look at the championships. Sorry, not the championship standings. The race result. Well, I can finally breathe again after that one. Cam Dance wins by less than 0.4 of a second. Christian Rose gets another podium, but unfortunately does drop back even further in the championship from Cam. That will mean now Cam's gained more points on them and takes his advantage to 90 points. Sorry, 91 points in the championship. So as long as Cam scores... Oh, let me figure this out now. There'll be 104 championship points left after this. So as long as Cam basically scores, what, 13 points in the next race? No matter what anyone else does, he will be the champion. Kevin Zemstra, though, and Christian Rose round out a great podium. Aaron Smith, what a result that is, by the way. He started 16th on the grid, 2nd to last. Ben Gregory comes up from 9th to finish 5th, ahead of Pete Harrod, who finishes 6th. Toby Ward with a great result for Minardi in 7th, ahead of Adam Hedgecock. Another lonely race at points for Adam, unfortunately. And then we have Jack Stiles 9th, ahead of Carn Newen, who rounds out your top 10. Martin Kenyon and Michael Blake both score points. Michael Blake scoring a point on his championship debut. And then the retirees from the race: Edward May, Silas Kragvrolic, Ben Hoffman and Jakub Szymanski, sorry for saying that the wrong way round, and Pete Newman early on in what has been a torrid season, unfortunately, so far for him. So, who do we chat to? Who do we get in? Well, there's a number of them that we could speak to be honest with you. We'll get the footage playing slowly in the background for you, and we'll drag in one of our Jordan drivers who led the race at certain points and unfortunately lost a lot of ground at the very end there due to that little incident. But Ben Gregory, you must be very, very pleased with that one actually, mate, because that was quite the scrap and you were up there for the majority.
I know, I led a lap. What a great set. I had fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was always going to be like everyone, NASCAR's up in the train, but I didn't expect it to be that close and that deep as well. So many cars in that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we'd get 5 or 6 like we normally do at the front, but at one point we had the top 11 all fighting for the lead. It was absolutely epic stuff. What was it like in terms of the setup differences then from the usual races? Because I know that you guys have to all be very careful about how close you brake to one another and how early you have to back out of it all. But was it even more exaggerated on this setup, or was it not so different?
I don't know. I felt a lot of understeer compared to usual. Like usually you're dealing with a lot of just turn the wheel in, car decides to murder you.
Yeah.
But now today was a little bit more understeer. It might be also aero wash, which in these cars is actually quite a lot more substantial than you might think.
Oh right.
Even though they got the baby wings, but yeah, it was relatively balanced. It wasn't too bad, but it was. I should have got a little bit more practice there. I should have definitely say that.
Well, that's the thing. It's a tough circuit. It's a tough car anyway, to be honest with you. So it's certainly not for the faint of heart. I remember speaking to Michael Blake earlier, and he was saying that he's not driven the car in so long, but he was really enjoying it, but it was trying to kill him every single corner. And we saw a few drivers still struggle with it, but I think the entertainment value so far has been mega. Talk to me about Jordan, though, because you and Aaron, I mean, you've had a fantastic haul of points, your biggest score of the season as well again tonight, after breaking that record again at Hungaroring last time.
Yeah, I think we're doing quite well. Aaron's like really picking up his picking up the pace with us as well. So both of us running relatively at least mid pack, and then being able to push right for the front as well has been really helpful. I think we could really take it to the top teams. Maybe not like Benetton with Cam winning everything, but I definitely think if Aaron didn't have his 1x in qualifying, I think we could have really fought for the front.
Yeah, I think so too, actually. It was a very impressive performance once more. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to, Ben, while I've got you?
Yeah, thanks to Aaron for being an absolute stellar driver and bringing in even more points. Thanks to everyone else on track for being super courteous and being really patient. Today could have been a massive wreck fest, but it was actually probably one of the best races we've had.
Lovely stuff. Well, always a pleasure, Ben. Thank you very much, mate. Well done on the points, and we'll see you in a few weeks' time. Nice one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
There we go then. Ben Gregory eventually finishing that race in 5th position. Could have been a little bit closer in terms of the final running order, but unfortunately that incident did split them up right near the end. And as part of that incident, unfortunately, we saw this man, Jack Stiles, lose a bunch of positions at the end. But Jack, you had one hell of a race with your teammate. You were working well together throughout all of that, weren't you?
I am gutted, Chaz. That was amazing. Easily one of the best races of the season. Our strategy was get Gregory out in front and let him do the hard work.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting there saving fuel. Christian tried the undercut, so we covered him off, and that put him in the pack with us. And that last 5 laps, I'm still shaking now.
I was going to say, especially knowing that the setup is more twitchy than it normally is, and I mean it's a twitchy car all the time, but knowing that while you have to fight as hard as you guys have, surely that must be nerve-wracking.
I am very glad I've invested in a direct drive wheel, because I can feel the car so much better.
Yeah.
But even on this setup, and how the tyres were with the track temp, the wheel was just going light. It was 4-wheel drifting through every corner, and you just had to be constantly on it. You know, I've got a rumble kit on my pedals, which is helping me as well, but I'm still out of breath. I'm gutted I made that mistake on the final lap, but that was all or nothing at that point. I had to go for it, and it didn't pay off this time. But you know, Monza's coming up. I love Monza. It's a great circuit. I've done well there before, so it's going to be a very similar race, I think.
And of course on the medium setup again in terms of the downforce, so plenty of slipstreaming, hard braking zones and chicanes, so yeah, it's certainly going to be an exciting one. Are there any other circuits towards the end of the season that you're looking forward to? We've got Red Bull Ring, Nürburgring and Suzuka.
I think Red Bull Ring will be quite interesting. It's one I've not really got a lot of experience with. Suzuka, I think, is going to be back to sort of what we see mid-season, where the pack gets a bit more spread out. Red Bull Ring could be a bit more of a drive train. That middle sector is going to have quite a big effect on the pack, though. I think we could see some breakaways and sort of some packs building through that. But I'm buzzing for this season. I'm just this has been so fun, and I can't wait for the last few rounds. It's brilliant.
I look forward to it too, mate. Honestly, when I know there's a Formula 1 round coming up, I get all really excited, and I usually get set up for my broadcasts about an hour and a half in advance, because a lot of the time I'm doing other stuff on my PC, and obviously it uses resource to have everything all loaded up and ready, but I usually get ready for Boremula 1 about 5 hours in advance, to be honest with you, because it's just so exciting for me to run it. And I mean, you guys are all getting on really well and everyone's having a fantastic championship, so it's nice to hear that you are enjoying it as well. And well, hopefully we can get that Ferrari win before the end of the season, because someone needs to stop that pesky dance. I know that from your perspective though, it might be quite interesting, because obviously Cam is a very good asset of yours at Orbit, so I mean, he's certainly showing you that he's got the talent in cars like this as well.
Cam knows, like, he has the greatest respect for me, and I love him to bits. But I really wish that we could get a win out of me or Kevin at some point this season. I think we're all getting a bit fed up of seeing Cam on the top, but he's been brilliant all season. You know, you have to remember that he rolls out of bed at about 6:30 in the morning, jumps on the sim, goes straight into qualifying, doesn't even warm up. We all spend an hour warming up beforehand. That's my practice, because I haven't had time the last couple of rounds to really practice beforehand. But Cam just jumps in and goes, and yeah, he's been absolutely on it all season. He loves this car. It's a car he knows very well. Taught me a few things about it, so I feel as though I'm getting there. I feel as though I've finally found something in the second half of the season. I just need to keep this momentum up.
Well, I for one hope that you do, mate, and we'll see what the points look like at the end of the season. Is there anyone you would like to have a quick thanks for while I've got you on the air?
First of all, to Cam, to Kevin, to Silas, Jakob, we've all been working together all season. It's been great, and obviously all the guys at Orbit, at Hybrid Tune, Demon Tweaks, and at Fight Colorectal Cancer. You know, we wouldn't be doing this if we all didn't love it, especially the guys at Orbit, and they're the guys who make this fun. And yeah, excellent job from all of them. Thank you, Chas.
Lovely stuff. Well, like I say, Jack, always a pleasure, mate. And of course, we do hope to see Cam dethroned by somebody before the end of the season. But whether that comes from you or your teammate, I'm sure our good mate Tom Jacobs would love to see a Ferrari on top as well if he watches. So I look forward to seeing your further efforts in the championship. Cheers.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to interview Cam because I'm fed up of speaking to Cam, to be honest with you. I want to speak to this man because he told me at the start of this evening that he had an injured knee. And I imagine it's the size of a hot air balloon right now, Christian, but that certainly looked like a fun race to get the most out of it with.
Yeah, so once you're racing, you sort of forget about the size of the knee and how much it hurts to brake. Yeah, that was such an incredible race. It was just absolute madness from start to finish.
And I mean, you were right in the thick of it from the get-go as well. When you qualified on the third row, did you think that you were going to be at any sort of disadvantage, or did you know because the slipstream was that strong that it didn't really matter where you qualified?
As long as I was in the top 10, I was like, I can go racing from here, because, as I say, those first 5-6 laps, we were just lifting halfway down the Camel Straight to just to hold position, save a bit of fuel, and try and keep a bit of strategy towards the end.
Well, I was going to say the strategy is it's becoming more and more prominent each time now, and when we go to Monza, we're going to have more of the same that we saw tonight, don't you think?
Yeah, so I pitted as soon as I could because I saw the lap times. Because we were lifting so much, we were just holding each other up to no end. I thought, well, hopefully, I was sort of hoping that no one would clock that I pitted, because I could have pulled a decent gap, but they are all smart to it. As I say, that one lap I managed to leap from 6th to 1st,
yeah,
and I was praying one of them would go past me before the final lap.
I was going to say it was a very scary final lap as well, and then when they did come through, it was like opening the floodgates. But that's often the way, isn't it, with all the slipstreaming that we get here?
Yeah, and as I saw Kevin sort of pulling up behind me. I think, oh, come on, please go by, make this a bit more interesting for me. I wanted to be in third going into the last lap. I thought that was the best spot to be. But it is what it is. I had a really, really great battle with Jack on that last lap. It's a shame what happened to him. I'm not 100% sure still if he got hit or if he just spun on his own. And then I just prayed that that Kevin and Cam would go too deep in the final corner and I could sneak through, but that wasn't the case. And Cam took a fantastic win. Yeah,
once again, just clutching it from the jaws, unfortunately. But I mean, it's just the nature of the beast in this championship. We saw him do it at the very first round, and he's done it in a couple of rounds since then. But I was explaining earlier that you're definitely one of the drivers that's knocking on the door for a victory right now. And do you feel like it's coming?
I feel like I need some bad luck for Cam. To be honest, he's just on a different level. He is. So I heard Jack mention it. You know, he just rocks up into quali and puts it on pole, and he really is just a class of the field at the moment.
Yeah, it's honestly a more of a reason for iRacing to implement per driver ballast, in my opinion, but we'll have to wait and see whether that gets implemented in the future. Either way, Christian, great to see you again, mate, and of course another podium for the tally. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Well, firstly to you, you know, you put so much effort into running this championship, and it is very much appreciated. I know that everyone has a really fun time, and then secondly, just a shout out to everyone in Pure Sims.
Thank you very much, mate. Well, it's a pleasure. I love doing it, and I really look forward to the last couple of rounds and how the championship gets decided. But hopefully we'll see you at the next one, and it'll come around very quickly, I'm sure, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, Chaz. Take care, mate.
Nice one. There we go then, Christian Rose, the final of our interviews tonight, because like I say, you're all fed up of hearing from Cam now, but what a fantastic race that was. Massive entertainment yet again from the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. Cam Dance takes his 7th win of the season and puts one hand on the trophy. Kevin Zemstra gets second for Ferrari. Christian Rose puts a McLaren on the podium once again. And Aaron Smith, well, he gains 12 places to make it up into 4th position. Amazing drive for Jordan, and with his teammate in 5th place as well. That is all for tonight, though, from the CDM Boremula 1 World Championship. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. My name's Chaz Draycott, and we'll see you in 3 weeks' time as we head to Autodromo Nazionale Monza, the Temple of Speed. We'll see you there.
Opportunistic, still rubbing panels as they go together. It's folded the wing mirror in on Gerardo's car. Misano is such a difficult circuit for these guys to get right. There's a lot of start-stop sections around the back. It's a very, very quick section as well.
It's a fantastic start from the 23. They're 4 wide there by the look of it.